We are getting into the nitty-gritty for this informational writing. Are you ready? Today's going to be kind of fun. So let's just kind of recap what you just did. You had a chance to go back into your subtopics and find some images that you thought, or graphs or pictures, whatever they were, that you thought would work well in your different sections, different subsections. And then I'm totally distracted right now because you guessed it, my neighbor's using her leaf blower. So let's get back on track. So you were able to do that. You were able to pick your top image that would fit into your subsection. And the reason that you wanted to do that is because visuals help your reader understand what your topic is. So now you have all your subtopics. You've written some draft paragraphs for each of your subtopics, hopefully about 2 paragraphs per subtopic. You've chosen some visuals that you think would be helpful in teaching your readers more about your topic. Today is a day of organizing your subtopics and thinking about organizing within your subtopics, and then organizing also how your subtopics are going to appear in your writing. Which one's going to come first, which one's going to come second, which one's going to come third. If you think back a few lessons ago, I asked you to think about what the structure of your paper would be. Would it be cause and effect? Would it be question and answer? Would it be chronological? Would it be compare contrast? And most of you were able to identify what you thought your paper fit into in terms of a structure for a category that way. If it's changed, that's perfectly okay, but today's the day to really start thinking about what structure will your paper take. Because if you're doing a cause and effect, that's going to look a little bit different from somebody who's writing more of a question and answer type of paper. And then also today we're going to talk about how to do introductions, and we're going to talk about some phrases that you can use in your paper in order to make it flow from one idea to the next. So before we get into all of that, I think we need to check out the Corgi Cam and see what Piper has been up to. I'm telling you what, I went to at least 2 different pet stores to get her favorite bones, and both pet stores were out of her favorite bones. They're these like chew sticks that have a peanut butter flavor that she really loves. And she's been very whiny, and finally I just bought a different form, a different shape of the bone that has the peanut butter flavor. So I think she's a little bit happier now, but I'm not sure. So let's take a look at the Corgi Cam and see what Piper has been up to today. Now that we know that Piper's happy and everything is going well in Piper land, we can start thinking about the structures of our papers and also about the introduction. So what is the structure that you decided on? The structure that I decided on early was cause and effect. So I'm just going to label my structure again. So I'm going to label that structure. And sometimes we hear the idea that readers and writers are supposed to be able to talk about the content of their work and also the form. So this is another way to think of form. So as a writer, you're not only thinking about what you're putting into the work, but you're also thinking about how that work is going to be shaped. Why I know mine is a cause and effect type of paper is because that's sort of how I designed it. My original question was, what is the environmental impact on frogs? So the cause is the environmental impact. I'm going to put C up here. And the effect is what happens to frogs. As a result. So this is the effect. And then my subtopics included, I'm going to put that over here, so I'm just kind of going back through thinking about my writing and how I'm going to teach it in the best possible way. So one of my subtopics was about frog anatomy. Another was about environmental impacts. And then the third topic was about scientists' action. Sort of this idea of, well, what do we do now? What do we do now that we know that the environment can impact frogs and our actions are impacting frogs in negative ways? So I see these subtopics in this order, and I'm thinking, what would be the best one to start with? Well, I kind of think the order that I have them in is pretty good, because I'm thinking here, this is kind of giving a little bit of background. So as you think about your topics, which of your subtopics is going to give a little bit of background? Then I'm going here to environmental impacts. This is sort of the answer to my big question, which is, what are the environmental impacts on frogs? So this is where I feel like the heart of my topic is. Saying that, I think that this section might end up being a little bit longer because I have a few more things to write about on this particular subtopic. The last section is sort of what I guess I would call it a looking ahead. Or maybe even a solution. I could think of this whole thing as a problem and solution. Wow. I'm noticing that I just kind of switched from cause and effect to problem and solution. I wonder if that's a better way of looking at my topic. Remember, in my research, there was no one cause that was making the frog population decline, that it was a lot of different things. So maybe this is an even better way to go. Maybe it's not really cause and effect. Maybe it's about a problem, and the problem is here, the environmental impacts, and the solution might be here in this section. So what do we do about it? I kind of like that better. Oh man, I can't believe I just did that, and I've already written all the stuff that I've written. Well, I think that's okay. You're at a place right now where you can decide how you want to shape your writing and what's the best way to teach your information to your reader. So part of what I want you to do today is really think about the structure of your paper. Is it a chronology? Is it cause and effect? Is it a problem and a solution, like I just discovered mine might be? Is it a question and answer kind of paper? And that's going to help you decide which subtopics go first, second, or third, or if you have more than 3, how you're going to put that order together. So that's one thing that you will need to work on today, is think about the order of your subtopics. You might think about it as a table of contents, okay? So you could even write it up that way. And I'll share, again, a document that I put together for my work so you can see kind of how I did it. And then you can follow that example. All right, the next thing that I want you to think about and work on today is your introduction. Now, you've probably noticed that we haven't done the introduction. We saved it kind of for the end, after you did all your research and after you wrote your paragraphs. Boy, that's strange. Why would we do that? Seems like every other paper that you've probably ever written, you started with the introduction first. Well, how many of you have thought, oh my gosh, introductions are so hard to write? Same here. They're much easier to write if you know what your topic is about, which you do know what your topic is about. So I want you to think about your favorite movie of all time, and think about what the trailer to that movie looks like. You might even Google it and watch it. Watch a few movie trailers. If you notice in a movie trailer or a movie preview, if you've gone to the theater and you've sat waiting for your feature film to begin and they show all those previews, they build the excitement for the movie through the preview. Sometimes you'll see a preview and you won't want to watch it at all. Sometimes you'll see a preview and you can't wait to watch the movie. I know every time I watch a preview, I'll say, that looks good, or I don't ever want to see that, or boy, that would be amazing, or that looks like it would be a waste of money, or I'll wait till that comes out on Netflix, right? So a preview is giving the audience a sneak peek. It's raising their interest and excitement, and it makes them want to go to the movie. The same thing should happen with your introduction, okay? So you want to entice your reader, get your reader interested by giving a preview. Now, you don't want to do that in sort of the same old kind of boring way, which would be something like, this paper will talk about frog anatomy, environmental impacts on frogs, and how scientists are reacting to those impacts. Boy, that sounds a little bit boring. So how can we jazz that up to make it a little bit more interesting? Let's take a look. I have my document ready to go, and I know that I'm using some kind of problem and solution or cause and effect, sort of the two forms that I landed on. So I'm thinking like movie trailer style. So here's how I would go about doing it. Have you ever seen a frog on the edge of a pond? Have you ever tried to catch a frog and felt it slip through your fingers? Some people might think that frogs are kind of slimy or gross. Interestingly, the slime that coats the frog's skin is super beneficial for their survival. You'll notice right there that I pulled out a fact or one of the ideas from my first section in my writing, which is about frog anatomy. So now I want to think about what is something from the middle section, which is more focused on environmental impacts. So I'm going to continue. Survival for frogs is in jeopardy now because of the impacts humans are having on the environment. Pollution, climate change, and other problems have directly affected frog populations. There is a connection between these environmental problems, I'll say hazards because I used problems already. These environmental hazards and frog survival. The fact that frogs are one of the most significant indicators of environmental health makes them a species worth looking at more closely. That's what scientists are doing now, and what we all should be doing. We need to help the frog population because in doing so, we will be helping the environment and our own health. We all need a healthy planet, and frogs and what else can I put there? Studying frogs, learning more about frogs and their ability to show us some of the danger signs in our environment will I don't want to say helpful because I've already said that. I've said beneficial. Will keep our planet safe for us all. So I'm trying to imagine if I put before my introduction, coming next summer, frogs are dying. Are you to blame? That sounds really enticing. So then I read my introduction. Have you ever seen a frog on the edge of a pond? Have you ever tried to catch a frog and felt it slip through your fingers? Some people might think that frogs are kind of slimy or gross. Interestingly, the slime that coats the frog's skin is super beneficial for their survival. Survival for frogs is in jeopardy now because of the impacts humans are having on the environment. Pollution, climate change, and other problems have directly affected frog populations. There is a connection between these environmental hazards and frog survival. The fact that frogs are one of the most significant indicators of environmental health makes them a species worth looking at more closely. That's what scientists are doing now, and what we all should be doing. That last part is from my third subtopic about citizen science and what are the scientists doing about it. We need to help the frog population because in doing so, we will be helping the environment and our own health. We all need a healthy planet, and learning more about frogs and their ability to show us some of the danger signs in our environment will keep our planet safe for us all. I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, it seemed to work out pretty well. And you'll notice that didn't really take that long to do because I knew what all of my subtopics were about. I knew some of the main ideas that I would draw from each subtopic. I had about at least one main idea from each topic. And I didn't say, in today's paper, I will tell you about frogs. Instead, I tried to weave it in and make it kind of a story that would invite my readers into my paper in a more interesting way. So that's what I want you to work on today, figuring out what is the form that your paper will take, and then how you can make your preview of your paper sound like a movie trailer or a movie preview. Thinking about an exciting way to do that. The other thing that I'm going to share with you, which I'll just put a document up so you can see it, are some different strategies for taking one sentence and leading into another so that you're not just saying first, second, third, or here's this, and then, which can get kind of old. So some other strategies to help you turn your phrases a little bit to get your paper flowing a little bit better. So going back through all your paragraphs, putting them in order the way that you think they should go, rereading them and editing them so that you're revising them and making them sound the way that you want them to sound, so they're teaching your readers. And then the next step that we'll do is we will add our conclusion, we will put in our citations, we will do some more editing and revisions as necessary, and then we will, for next week, lead into how to take part of your paper and make a Google slide out of it so that you can share that with the students as a whole so everyone can see what your research has been about. I have to think more about what that's going to look like. Monday, we don't have a specific lesson, so what I'll do is maybe Friday of this week, I'll send out just one other sort of reminder, just kind of a sheet to have you have some steps to look at so that by next week, Wednesday, you are really ready to go. You have a very solid draft that you're happy with, and we can fine tune it from there. All right. And Friday, I may have individual appointments as well for people who want to talk to me about their work and kind of go through it. So this is exciting. We're really we're narrowing down. We're getting to the end of this work. I'm excited to see it all come together for you. Hopefully you're excited as well. And don't forget to get outside. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice. And, the flowers are blooming. So it's a good time to check those out. Hope that everything goes well. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help. And remember, if you stay on top of it step by step, it works a lot better than waiting and trying to do 8 steps at once. Okay? So good luck, and we'll see you a little bit later. Bye. At what? Why is everything failing in life? Enter.